when I saw all these faces in front of me, the magnitude and how many people did actually know our music, I was shocked. But then a few weeks later, I was hijacked and shot 3 times in a hijacking.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding a road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now.
What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of None of Your Business. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and you can also check out the links to all of my other socials in the description below. We've also gone live on Patreon, which has a bunch of epic bonus content, such as uncut episodes, early access, and something I'm quite excited about, live Q&A sessions. Once a month, you'll be able to tune in at the time of recording, and at the end of the episode, you'll be able to ask the guest any questions you want. But without further ado, let's get into it. Firstly, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Just to start us off, what is your business? What do you do today?
Calvin, I'm a music producer and also an artist developer, which means there's a lot of investing that go into lives. So yeah, that's exactly what I do. A music producer, artist developer, and occasionally a singer-songwriter.
Okay. And is that under the name of a company, or is it your own company, or what's the structure there?
Well, we do have a structure because of its different departments in its field. Obviously, the music business is a huge part of it. So besides music as a passion, we have distribution, we have the recording studio, we have the arts and marketing department, and those are separate companies, but we'll fall under one banner called the CMD Music Group, okay, which actually, we do a lot of encompassing things, but everybody provides their services, if everybody's heading the right direction on a particular, project. Yeah.
Cool. And so how long have you been doing this for?
Well, I entered a competition when I was 16, and when I was 17, I got my first record deal from Johannesburg.
How old? 17?
I was 17,
okay.
Yeah, man. But the scary part is I think, as usual, us overachievers, we always try and overextend ourselves. So I only knew 3 songs on my dad's guitar. So when I got like the call to come up and fly in, and the producer asked me how many songs do I have, and I just told him, well, I've got a whole bunch. I was lying. I only had 3. I only had 3. So
okay.
So I think from the beginning, it was always getting thrown in the deep end. I used to have a speech impediment, which it was just difficult growing up in a Spanish home, or speak Afrikaans at school and then English classrooms. It was a very different time back then. So
of course, yeah.
All I can say is that when it came to getting into music business and music from the beginning, it was when the passion of music and the business of music converged. And I'm 43 today, and I'm still learning about the music business, which is quite intricate. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you get things going with the venture? What were the beginning stages and things you needed to get started? You said, you had that, was it a competition?
Yeah. It was a competition.
But then getting to where you are today, what was a bit of the background there?
I would say, especially in our industry, which is entertainment, in our case is the music, it's very seasonal. So on the approach from the beginning, the word go, I've always was the singer, songwriter, or the artist who would either be in a band getting signed to a label, or be an artist and operate independently and do those sort of things. But then as the monies start coming in on a certain level, it starts becoming, the passion of music and the business of music starts meeting in a huge way, especially when you're sharing with other individuals that have the same sort of direction that one is going in. And that's just from a band's point of view. So the investment from that point on was just being able to get noticed and work hard at it. That I got a second wind when I was able to do a song called Going Nowhere Slowly for a television show. And that changed my life. For many years, I was able to say that I did something of some sort of merit, but that would be the fuel injection that would spur the rest of the direction of where I would have gone with the business. Then it was purely performance, typical artist dream, Now there's, as I've been speaking a lot lately, is I speak about the field of music. There's a lot that involves, and there's a lot of departments that
A lot of moving parts. Yeah.
yeah, so where the one is not operating, the other one might be working, or if marketing is happening and everything is, there's a balance. And I think where I'm currently at, how it's brought me to a place is, I think over the years, I've always wanted something to sound a particular way, because I always grew up with really good music. I grew up with a variety of music. So I had a particular, my ear was going towards a particular, I would say, quality of final product, call it, if that's what I'm going to call it. Just a certain standard, and I would try and emulate with equipment that's like the beginning equipment, like just the 1/8 track or whatever it is. Start from there and try and emulate these songs that have been pushed through like $3 million studios and try and reach it, and just that
try and match that.
Try and match it. So at this point in time, I'm finding myself in the seat of a music producer, a music composer. I do stuff for television, do stuff for movies, or EPKs, bands.
What are some of your biggest, say, moments that you like? I guess your biggest achievements in your career.
I would say the biggest achievements would be in my little universe. It was the day that, as an artist, as someone that was working hard in a band scenario for many years, to get to open up for a few bands that we grew up listening to.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I think when I saw all these faces in front of me, the magnitude and how many people did actually know our music, I was shocked, firstly. So
kind of became a reality of, wow.
Yeah, this was it. But then, we talk about reaching a certain measure of, maybe at that point in time, was what I would call a personal success or a goal point. But then a few weeks later, I was hijacked and shot 3 times in a hijacking.
Really?
So that split the band up, it just changed everything. So from working all of that up to that point, in 2009, was a day off, and it just happened. It happens to many people.
Yeah.
But what I can personally say out of personal testimony is that at the end of that year, I pushed out 5 albums. I didn't go for help or treatment. I lost myself into work. So for many years, it was work, 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 until, family life. I have 4 beautiful children. I'm married. I've got a good slot of people that I connect with, reach out to. And because of that incident, I was diagnosed in the beginning of this year, 2021, with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. I never knew what it was, but it connected all the dots of what was happening to me, that I found in the past 10 years that I felt like I've been sort of degressing, even though the music and everything else
was progressing.
Yeah. I felt that I was finding physical challenges now, cognitive functional challenges, that I had to change my lifestyle very quickly to at least keep and hold what I have, which is obviously the business, the passion, the love for music, and obviously most importantly, my family. And
you didn't want to let that all fall away.
Yeah, so when it does come to business, and so I may be veering off slightly, but when it does come to business, I think there needs to be a good balance. A good business will only flourish if ego is dead. Ego needs to sleep, really. It needs to go to bed. And I believe that's what happened to me when I got shot. I believe that day, my ego died.
For the better.
For the better,
yeah.
It's one thing to be in business and feel like you're untouchable and be overconfident. Take the punches when you don't meet the goal lines. Just take it on the chin. Don't be too hard on yourself. But if you're getting into it because your passion is sort of coinciding with your existence, and it becomes a little bit more than just a 9-to-5 functionality, it becomes just part of your discipline.
Yeah.
And people will be attracted to that because they will see that, you're not just saying stuff, you're producing stuff. It keeps coming out of the kitchen. The store's still open, and you can have a lot of people come at you because you have been a little bit of success here or gaining a couple of steps forward. There will be 20,000 people tell you why you shouldn't, why you can't. And I think the bottom line for me is you have to be selfless. There needs to be an investment in people, because when you invest in people, sometimes that investment doesn't come back. And I'm not talking about money. talking about reciprocation.
Yeah.
It's that vibration we will live in, where 5 years down the line, the person who started off maybe as a client has become a long-term partnership. And this is longevity in business, I believe, especially for a young entrepreneur like myself. I've still got a lot of years in my tank, but I need to plan carefully because, music is probably one of the hardest businesses to be in.
Of course, yeah.
And in the film and all that.
To see good success in it is not easy, yeah.
And it goes hand in hand with hospitality. So I would say that would be the one thing that I needed to really focus was what was important to, what was obviously the product is good. Every one of us have a certain formula, that we would use in our whatever business it is. But what is our interactions like with our clients? I mean, even if it's a bad day with the client, what is that interaction? Because if you can go through the fire with your client, it'll be a little bit easier, if you're in a partnership. Partnerships need to develop, and they develop out of sometimes meeting clients, meeting random people. But
you spoke about just now, you touched on, you stood on that stage and you had all those faces looking at you, and you had yourself a moment where you just, it was a reality for you. I'm sure at that time, you might have sat back and felt like you've made it. Would you say now, in your current experience, where you are at life now, that moment was, ooh, I've made it? Or does it still look different for you, sitting back and feeling like you made it? Because I think we all have an idea of what success would be for us personally. So what would be success for you personally? And do you feel like you've got to that point, or is that still something that's, on the horizon?
I think it's, let's be honest, I think it could be a two-way question, two-way answer, to be honest. Two-way street, if we should call it. The I've made it situation would be, if I look back now, I would say it was a momentarily snapshot of the dream. There was a momentary feeling of happiness.
Yeah.
Keyword being momentarily.
Yeah.
Right? So as the years went on, not everything I did was always successful. If I fail, I try and fail forward.
Yeah.
But trial and error, something's taking off. So I think from that point of view, if I look at that then, it was a wonderful feeling. It was a great sense of goal accomplishment, but what now? What's next?
Yeah.
Is it the greed that drives you, or is it the next momentarily feeling? So I might be saying that we're completely wrong.
Yeah.
But I think to bring those questions now to like happiness and success, I think in business, we have seasons, and it's like a boxer getting in a ring. If you can get through the first round, I always believe you went the distance. You made the round, you made the bell. Okay. That for me, for example, is maybe a first pitch. It could be the first project. It could be the first song, or it could be the first
client. It could be the
client, whoever, like your first apartment that you're going to be flipping. This is the first round. Man, you just made it through. How do I say? Stallone says it so nicely. It's not how many punches you get, it's how many punches you can take and keep moving forward. So when that round is done, you went the distance. So cool, you got the apartment. Cool, the business is happening, but there's always round two. Round two could be another song, could be another project, could be. So it's going the distance. That, for me, makes me content, because once that becomes a formula, then failure is just an opportunity to move forward. Failure is an opportunity for a solution. That was my point. Like I said, there will be 20 people who tell you, no, you can't do it, dude. No, dude. You got to look at your risk, bro. High risk, bro. I don't know if we're going to make this. No, if we do this, we won't make rent, whatever. I'm like, cool. How much do we all need to do this to make this happen? Well, I need to da-da-da-da-da. Great. Let's calculate that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's the goal. Where do we go from here? Do we take that risk firstly? So I think that feeling, like you said, it was momentarily.
Yeah.
Would I like to feel that feeling again? Of course, dude. I still jam. If I get a chance, But the picture's a little bit bigger than just.
Yeah. So for you, it's more being able to keep going long term than just having one momentary moment of success.
I'd love to have a success story, a song come out of my studio for another big project or another movie or something. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I'll be happy. But then Monday comes along, and what's next?
Things just carry on as normal.
And it's not because I'm not satisfied. It's not because I'm an overachiever. It's because there's something set out to serve the people. It's a working formula, and it's serving the industry that you're in. And this is the mistake a lot of people, especially in my field, is they go with what they've done to validate what they need to earn, where a lot of people need to just set it up against the wall with everyone else. Mm-hmm. And when it's your turn, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Then it's your turn. And that turn will come. And until then, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we spoke about, the incident when you had your hijacking. Yeah. Would you say that's the biggest challenge you faced in your business, in your career, in your life?
Yeah, I got to say that I didn't see that sidewinder coming. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you've played rugby or any sort of sport. You get a bit of a blind spot and you thought you were going home free.
Yeah.
and this is normally the little guy you don't see that gets you out of the game. That's what it felt like for me. It felt like everything getting ripped out of. Firstly, my security, that was my mistake. I put my security, call it ego, call it whatever, but I put my security in the gifting, in what I was doing. I didn't put my security in myself as a person first. I need to believe that I can do it. So if I can't do it, I still have a million other options that I can do, because the ground, the foundation of where your thought and cognitive function is going to come to execute your business needs to be at a good place. It can't be, because if your thing fails, you can't fail. You need to still stand so that you can pick whatever it is that fell off the cart, put it back on,
and keep
just
moving,
get back on the horse and keep moving.
Yeah,
that's what I talk about. Round for round.
100%. And moving on, so in starting any business, you need to have somewhat of an initial investment. Usually monetary. Yeah. Obviously, there's other things that we invest, time, whatever else. What was the initial investment you needed for your business? Was there a monetary value that you had to put in, or was it relatively cost-free and it was more just about, networking and getting these kinds of things aligned?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I needed to look for that way very quickly. Once the well dries up, you got to make sure that you got something else lined up. You know what I mean? What I added on was the extra hours that the rest of the band stayed partying. I went and I started figuring out how to record a multi-track digitally with no screen. So for that, I needed my whole personal investment, right? So I took my whole first salary and threw it into like a little recording effect, something tiny, a little microphone in the hotel room. That's where it started.
Wow. Do you know what the amount is, if you're comfortable to share that?
Yes, I can share that with you. The amount for that recorder was about 6,500 Rand, including the microphone.
Okay, so 6,500 Rand initial investment.
Initial investment. And with all of that, having said that, these days in the industry, people are charging up to 15,000 Rand an hour for my expertise, especially award-winning producers, music producers, songwriters. So as the business grows, as your storeroom or your catalog grows, or your whatever business we are going to be investing ourselves in, as it grows, the changes are going to be, especially if you've got partners, it'll sometimes,
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes growth is good. It allows people to expand more in what they're doing and what they're good at. Because normally when people are starting a business, it starts with everybody's doing everything to make something come up the surface of the water, at least, just to show, hey, we're here.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But then as the business grows, let's say 2-3 years later, we need an accountant now. We need this, we need that. And all of a sudden, where we were doing everything, now we need to separate from now we have to do what we need to do, for example, in all our departments and whatever.
Focus
business.
On something.
And now we all have to focus. Yeah. And that's called restructuring. That's pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to have strong friendships to get through that. That's for real. And if your friendship stands through the test of time, I can say that I haven't done business with family, which is a good thing. Some families, I'm sure, is a good thing, but
yeah. So if you could go back in time, is there anything you would do differently in your career if you were given the chance?
I wish I invested a little bit more in the business side of understanding the monetary part of business and investments and stakes and all those sort of things. Whether you're in music, whether you're in a plumber or a really good electrician,
Any kind of business,
kind of business. When you're getting off the ground, it needs to be straightened out. At least 70% of the foundation or the template of a business, and then know what's happening with your own business. Just you have to know what's happening.
Get involved. Yeah,
you got to get involved. What's happening in the front door to what's happening in the little coffee area where everybody makes coffee. You got to know everything. Yeah. From sales, everything. You just got to be on top of everything. I wish I was able to tell myself, Michael, you need to do this first. Get your business sorted out. I know you like music, but you're going to need 3 months with at least a little bit of business course or do something like that.
Yeah, to have the background and the understanding.
So that I understood and I'm able to make my own decisions. That's one thing. Business from the ground up. Learn to make your own decisions. When they are successful, embrace it. When they fail, learn from it, embrace it, and move forward. That's it. That's about it.
Yeah,
easy.
Man. Yeah. And at the moment, you've been through a lot. It's been a long career. But today, would you say, are you happy at the moment?
I'm content. I think I'm falling back to happy. I would say I'm happy that I'm sort of finding my seat in what I'm really good at. And in my line of work, it's 20% talent and 80% psychology. And, and being a music producer, I have to bring the best out of people. I can do that. I can do whatever they do. Whatever they give me, I can put it out to them. But I'm happy when I'm in a situation like that, but I'm very content where the business is right now. Still running as Guerrilla Music, part of the CMD Music Group. Guerrilla Music is exactly that. I go to other countries and I go and record in other countries. Not only other countries, so if I go down the road, I'll go and record other people.
Wherever.
In the comfort of their own home.
Okay.
So it's a bit more interactive, I suppose.
Yeah. And just in closing the podcast, what is one message you'd want to give to a young entrepreneur? You could think of it as a success nugget that they could hold on to and take from this conversation.
I think whatever your interest is, what you really like, has to be defined from responsibility. Responsibility includes discipline, which obviously would be the foundations of getting whatever it is, the line of business that you are going to pursue and do. And the rest could be passion driven. It could either be a hobby, but if it's, for example, like in my case, it was my passion and hobby. So I had to figure out a way how to bring in the bread with the passion and the hobby. What I don't like doing is the business side of things. So the admin side, putting me in the office, is terrible. I need to be in physical contact with music, whether it is mixing it, whether mastering or making it or absorbing it. But I would say learn to be patient and learn to be patient with yourself, because you're definitely going to make mistakes. You're going to make a wrong call.
100%.
And sometimes when you make a wrong call, people bail. I'm one of them. Sometimes I think I make it better, and I've got a group of people saying, "No, Mike, don't, no, stay in the game. Stay in the game. Don't go to the bench yet. Keep it chill. You can still shoot a 3 from me, So I would say be patient. I think patience is such an important thing, dude, because when it is your turn, when it happens, you're gonna get to the next level, and that's gonna require another sort of kind of patience. So at least, I'd say just be patient and disciplined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And just before we sign off, now's your chance just to give your business a bit of a shameless plug. So where can the listeners find you and your business? Any Instagram handles or websites or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got something called www.realmusicworks.com. It's I hand out some handy secrets of things that I've learned along the way, mistakes that I've made in the music, in construction of music and songwriting, etc. the business of music, some informative stuff that maybe, you know,
Yeah.
I think music lawyers would hate me for that, or publishers would hate me because I'm handing out like very handy little subtle tips that actually doesn't hurt the industry. It actually allows people that are learning to actually, when they go into something, they go into it naively.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, dude. I really appreciate it, Cal.
I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in a big league.